Right, welcome to Ultimate Fight Clan. Nathan, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks, brother. How are you?
Yes, mate. Yeah, I'm all right. Good to see you again.
Yeah, back at you, bro.
That is a bit of a Shaolin coloured t-shirt or top, what you've got on there, isn't it? You don't think?
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah. It's got the orange Shaolin colors. It's actually so it's actually a sponsored a top. I'm sponsored by a fire eating company called Fire in Your Face, and basically I've got my own like logo. If you, I don't know if you can see it, but
I can
so
see
this
it.
is
Fire in your
myself.
face.
Yeah, so it's a breakdancer upside down on one hand whilst eating fire, because that's my style. So he made a logo especially for me. But yeah, shout out to Tom Wilkinson. So I get free merch, and stuff, and like I'm like one of his kind of like ambassadors for fire eating and things.
Well, I was about to say, if it's someone doing breakdancing upside down with fire going on, then yeah, it must be you, right?
Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm that guy, I guess.
Brilliant. Well, listen, I'm going to get straight into it. Thanks for coming back again. I want to talk to you about something that I've always wanted to talk to you about ages ago, but because you do so many different things, we never got around to it, right? Because we had other chats, and I'm all good with that because I don't really have a plan, and then we get chatting and things come out, and that's when you do the chats, and that's what happened. So I'm happy with everything, but the thing that I always wanted to talk to you about initially, I never got around to. But it's been so long that it's now come round to you actually going to it tomorrow. So I've had to get you on it, and I really appreciate the short notice jumping on to chat about this, mate. I really appreciate it. Thanks for doing it.
It's all right. I'm more than happy to.
All right, well, okay, so we're going to have a chat about this. So let's just have a little read of what we've got on the screen here. Well, first off, we've got someone at the top there doing congas, right? There's drunken, there's snake, there's a claw. What are we saying? There's a bit of a middle claw there.
Yeah.
It's not really an evil. It's not really a
It's
tiger.
almost like dragon. Almost like dragon claw.
It's a lunging, yes.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's got here, written in big, you've been accepted. And if we have a little read at the bottom, let's just see what we're talking about. On behalf of the JC Stunt team, I mean, just those words alone. If you're into the Kungs and you're into the Chan, things like that, JC Stunt team, I mean, that says it all. Philip Shahagun. Now, I don't know this guy, but we'll get on to that. We would like to congratulate you on your application and acceptance to join us for the JCST Action Camp Beijing. Right, mate. This is absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. You must be over the moon.
Yeah, and like literally, it's like how can I best put it? I feel like my inner 8-year-old is like jumping for joy. To be honest, because this is something obviously, like you, I grew up watching kung fu movies and Jackie Chan films when I was a young kid, and so. But it was always like a world apart, right? It was always like, oh, okay, yeah, I grew up watching him, but that was all I'd ever, all I'd ever be. Just be able to watch his films, and that would be it. And then, like, fast forward, I'm actually 42 years old now, and I'm going to be going to, to train with a Jackie Chan stunt team. I wouldn't have thought it would have been possible, not even a year ago. So yeah, it's definitely a surreal experience, but it's one that I'm, willing to take on board like wholeheartedly and jump in with both feet with, for sure.
Okay, so let's start off with how this came about, because I didn't even know that such a thing existed. And I don't know, I want to know everything about it, right? Because I don't know what sort of skills you need. If you need, if you get certain different types, so you can have someone who comes on who's got a bit of the, maybe a bit more of the director's angle. If you need some of the physical skills, I don't know how this came about. So first off, can you let me know how you found out about this?
Yeah, sure. So obviously, like my action filmmaking journey started about a year ago, not last April, obviously the April before, so just over 12 months ago, and I was going to the States to be part of Cynthia Rothrock's film Black Creek, and I think I was on Instagram, and I think it like just it popped up like JC stunt cap and stuff. And I looked at it and I was just like, wow, that's incredible. I'd love to do that. But I thought, it'll probably never happen. Hopefully one day I'll get a chance to go to see where, Jackie Chan's stunt team trains and everything. But I thought, to be a part of that, it probably wouldn't happen. So I kind of like forgot about it pretty much. But when I was planning my trip out to the States, I really wanted to make sure that the trip worked for me as much as I possibly could. So I wanted to get as much out of that trip as I could. So not only did I go there to be in Cynthia's film, I also decided I was going to meet up, as many people as I could while I was out there, really. And so
Yeah.
I reached out to a guy called Eric Jacobus, who does a lot of indie martial arts films and things, and he also does a lot of motion capture and stuff. And because I was staying in, I was going to go to Vegas. I'd never been to Vegas before, and I always wanted to go. So I reached out to him, and he got back to me, and he's like, yeah, I'll meet up with you. Because I just said to him, what, I'm a aspiring filmmaker, and kind of like I'd like to just ask you some questions about martial arts filmmaking and what your journey's been like, really. So he was great, and he was accommodating with that. And he also said, oh, you probably want to get in touch with Philip Sagan while you're out here as well. He might be another good person for you to talk to. So at this point I didn't really know who Philip was, but I was like, yeah, cool. So I did a little bit of research on him, and Philip, so he owns like a martial arts training academy out in Las Vegas, and he'd been to China quite a few times to train out in China, but he'd also been on quite a few of their kind of like TV shows, like reality TV shows out there, that's kind of like based around kung fu, and he'd done like really really well on a few of them, and one of them was I think Jackie Chan was looking for a new apprentice or something on one of these TV reality shows.
What
And
a brilliant
he,
program! I didn't even know that program existed.
yeah.
Can't get over that and watch that.
Yeah, it was the first I ever heard of it as well.
Right.
So basically, so he did that, and he did really well in that program. And I think from there he also went on to do some fight choreography for a lot of the Cirque du Soleil shows that are in Vegas as well and things. So he's kind of like really really well clued up in terms of fight choreography and martial arts, for screen and for the stage. His wife was in the film Day Shift, with Jamie Foxx, the vampire film that was on Netflix recently, and I think a couple of other students was in there as well. So he's done some Hollywood stuff also. So I went and obviously met up with him. Again, he was very gracious enough to like meet up with me. So I spoke to him about his journey and things, and was telling him a bit about my journey. And obviously I showed him some of the footage I'd had from Flaming Assassin. So at this point, when I went to the States, I only had the fight scenes. I hadn't had the film, because it was, at that point, it was just a proof of concept. But I think I mentioned before, the proof of concept turned out so well. I was like, I have to turn this into a film. But at this stage, when I just got to the States, I'd only edited the fight scenes like literally a week or so before, and so it was very much just 3 separate fight scenes, and that was it. And I showed him the fight scenes and things, and he gave me some like really good feedback on them and stuff and everything. And we got talking and things. And then he mentioned that he runs the Jackie Chan stunt camp, like stunt team training camp. And I was just like, wow. I was like, I literally only saw that just the other week.
Yeah, you made the connection.
Yeah. I completely, forgot about it. And he was like, yeah. He goes, you know what? You should actually apply to it. So he kind of like seen what I'd done, is kind of like, I guess he saw that I had something. So he was like, yeah, you should apply to it. He goes, but like, the kind of like the ultimate decision doesn't just lie with him. He has to send off the footage that you submit and things. He sends off to Jackie Chan stunt team as well, so they kind of like have the say in terms of whether or not they want certain people to be a part of it and things. So I was like, right, okay. So I was like, okay. So and he said, oh, yeah, I think the registration opens in a couple of weeks' time. So I was like, right, okay, I'll apply for it. And so after that, after Vegas, I then went to LA. And when I was in LA, I was lucky enough to be Andy Cheng, who used to be part of Jackie Chan's stunt team. And Andy also did the fight choreography for like Rush Hour 2 and Shang-Chi, the Marvel film that came out a few years ago and stuff, and Knights of the Zodiac. So, you know, he was part of Jackie Chan's stunt team, but now he's like a super successful kind of like Hollywood action director and fight choreographer. So, and again, so similar to the conversation I had with Eric and Philip, I had a conversation with Andy about you know, my journey and what I wanted to do in terms of fight choreography, and you know, I got him to take a look at those fight scenes that I'd specified from Flaming Assassin and stuff. And yeah, he was just like, yeah, he's like, yeah, I think yeah, you just need to keep going. You just need to keep doing what you're doing and things. And I mentioned that I was going to, you know, hopefully apply for the Jackie Chan stunt team. And he was like, yeah, he goes, I'm gonna talk to them about you as well.
Oh
So
yes.
do you know what I mean? So he kind of like saw that I had something as well. So you know, he basically just put it on their radar that I was, you know, going to be applying as well and things.
Yeah, he's got
So
the connection there, right? He's got an in, as in he knows them, so
yeah, yeah, yeah,
he can
yeah,
vouch for you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly that. So I think coupled with um, you know, Philip recommended me to do it, and then you know, and Andy also recommended me, but also with what I had with Flaming Assassin, it was very different to like a lot of other things that was going on. I think that really worked well in my favor. So they've seen certain elements of Flaming Assassin as well, and I think because it was just so different, I think it kind of like stood me in real good stead. And I was one of the first people to get selected to be part of the training camp for the Jackie Chan stunt team.
Mhm.
So, but bro, I'll tell you, like when I was waiting on the result, I was sweating, man. I was just like, I was just like the
Yeah.
deadline's coming up for them to let us know, and I was like, oh, so, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I'm probably not gonna make it, but you know, at least at least I've tried. At least I've tried.
That's
And
it.
I was just
That's it.
worrying, man. But
Yeah,
yeah,
of course. I bet. Yeah, because you think to yourself, I mean, well, I'll ask you some questions in case because you might know the answers. I don't know. Do you know how often this opportunity comes about? Is it a yearly thing, every few months, every
yeah,
so often?
I
You know?
think it's once a year. So the first, so this is, I think this is the second one they've done. So they've done it. They did it the year before. So I think this is the second year. So I think they are looking for it to be a yearly thing. But with the Jackie Chan stunt team, they do other things where they do open it up to people to come and train with them as well. But again, those things kind of like it depends on kind of like where people are and stuff like that. But I know like with this one, we've got people from all over the world coming. So we've got like real top tier people from like, you know, circus performers that can do like hand balancing, right through to like, you know, martial arts world champions and things. Um, you know, right the way through to like you know, people that are involved in films and stunt work. So
Mm.
it's a real mixed bag. And for me, I think what's great is because I am a filmmaker, I'm just going to be soaking up all that knowledge and just applying them to my filmmaking when I get back over in the UK. That's my main
Yeah.
thing really. It's just kind of like, you know, I'm just as interested, if not even more interested, in terms of learning about the filmmaking aspect behind the camera. Um, then obviously, you know, I learned the great physicality, the great techniques and stuff like that. We'll be doing like wire work and all that kind of stuff as well. But for me, it's really about okay the you know, the filmmaking elements and aspects and how to tell the great stories, like how Jackie used to tell those, you know, stories with his films and stuff, like what certain shots mean and how you set certain things up, and like, you know, those types of things is what I'm going to be able to really soak up and take back and apply to my own filmmaking really.
Well, that totally makes sense because as we know with Jackie and his fights, because they're not just fights, right? They tell a story. They're there for a reason. They're not just fights for the sake of it. And you're right. You should be able to pick up all of that, all of that knowledge, and that is I mean, it's brilliant, right? To just have that opportunity to have that. But this is the good thing is for you is you make your own luck. So someone might go, no, this is luck. Well, first off, you know what's going on. You're seeing what's happening. You had a little connection. You saw something on Instagram. Thought, okay, yeah, Chan, it registered with you. But then you went on your trip, and when you were there, like you said, you wanted to make the most of everything. So you contacted people, chatted with people, and that is what is really, really important to learn for people. Is that, as you've said before, you know, you shoot your shot. You did it with Cynthia, and that's a good thing to do because they can only say no. And these people have been very accommodating. They said yes. You've chatted, and then one thing, as you've seen, as you've told that story, one thing has led to another, and it's led you to going on this Jackie Chan stunt team course, and that you created that. You know, you had to apply. They had to accept you, but you created that opportunity. The opportunity is there for people if they want it, and people that they will know that they can see that. You know, you had Andy suggesting you as well. They can see that Philip suggesting you. They know, right, that you're the right type of person for it. Because guess what? You got on a plane, you made the effort, you went and met these people, and that effort will shine through, and they will know the passion is there. You had some stuff to show. You got nowhere. You had at that point. You had nowhere near as much to show them as you have now. Without this Jackie Chan stunt team thing, you haven't even been on yet. Look at your growth between then, you know, trying to get onto that course, and now what you've achieved since then. How much more knowledge you've gained already on your own doing stuff, and now you're just about to add to that.
Yeah, man, 100%. Like it's quite surreal when I think about it, because obviously at that point, when I went over to the States, like Flaming Assassin wasn't even a film. It was just a concept. It was just a concept of 3 different fight scenes. Can I combine fire, breaking, and martial arts? And
Yeah.
that was it. It was just, and I was like, okay, I've got a proof of concept, but that was it. And then so after that trip to the States, I also, whilst I was out there to make the most of it, I also did lecturing in like hip hop and accessibility at some universities and stuff, because I was just
Wow.
like, I just need to, you know, do as much as I can. So I did it at the Global Hip Hop Conference in Los Angeles, and then I was a keynote speaker at Texas State University as well.
There you go.
So I made sure I really, like, you know, just made the most of the journey as much as I
That's the
could.
thing. So you had different things in your head. You have lots. You're multifaceted. You have lots of different skill sets, and you still took your breaking side of that and went, okay, was there anything going on in the breaking world while I'm there? Can I make the
Mhm.
most of it there? And these people, it goes to show that they're looking for stuff like this. They want people to be interested. They want people to share their experiences. And you know, you're a
Mhm.
perfect candidate for it. It's brilliant, mate.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah,
really, really great.
yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, 100%. Because so my trip. I mean, I was originally, when like Cynthia invited me over, I was only going to be going to Benson, Arizona, and that was it. But I said, all right, I'm going to top and tail the trip. So I started off in Vegas. From Vegas, I went to LA. From LA, I went to Benson, Arizona. From Benson, I went to Austin, Texas. From Austin, Texas, back to LA for a day to meet back up with Andy. Um, and then from there, back on the plane back to the UK. But at that point, like I said, Flaming Assassin, it was just a concept, so it wasn't even a film. So when I got back to the UK, about a week later, I'd written the script, and I was like, right, okay, let me just bang out this the dialogue and the scenes to wrap around the fight scenes. We'll make it into a film. So made it into a film. Didn't even know how it was going to, you know, turn out, and then obviously got released beginning of February. And so what are we in? March, April, May, 4 months in, and it's just
Yeah.
won its 30th award. It's won like 30 awards in 4 months. Um,
30, 30.
yeah. So yeah, it's
Wow. Yeah.
it's blown up. It's done really, really well. And yeah, that's before, you know, like I say, even going to Beijing. But it's incredible when I stop and think about it. So, you know, all this started a year ago, right? So in April last year,
Yeah.
and it's literally taken me to both ends of the earth in that space of time. You know, I've gone from the UK to the States, to the far west as you possibly could, to now go to the far east. You know, on my journey in terms of my pursuit of excellence, in terms of really trying to learn from the best. That's what I'm really trying to do. I'm really trying to learn from those who have deep knowledge and that have like proven track records, so that I
This is
can
the
see,
thing.
okay, exactly what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your mindset is perfect because what you've been brought up on, and the skill. You've seen it, right? You've watched it. You know that stuff's the best. It's never been topped. You know what you've been watching. You know what's created the person you are today, and you've already been very, very successful. And you just said you've got a film there with 30 awards. You've already been successful, and yet you're still striving to do more because you know what you've seen before. What if you just look at the Chan stuff. I mean, you've seen loads of stuff, right? You've seen the Samo stuff. You've seen loads of stuff, of course. But if we just go with Chan because we're talking about Jackie Chan and his stunt scene, you've seen what those guys have achieved, and so okay, I can do this, and I'm doing very well. And you could, what do they call it? Rest on your laurels, right? You're doing very, very well. Yeah, you're successful. I guess you're happy, but for you, you're like, if there's more out there, and there's more opportunities, you're going to grasp them. And this is only going to help, as you say. But this mindset that you've got of not settling, that I think that's quite rare. I mean, there will be a lot of people like it, but most people settle for things. I'm sure you've had a normal 9 to 5 at some point, like most people, been sitting there miserable. That's my guess, because we've all been there, right? True. Have you had that? You've had a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
Have you been
well,
stuck
I've
in a
had.
rut?
Do you know what? Right, I had the only other job I've ever had, other than a job I love, was burger flipping at McDonald's as a teenager.
Okay.
Once, and for me I just hated it. Even then I was learning breaking, so I was in the back spinning on my head, and also actually tell as well, I used to get in trouble because I used to go into the stock room and I used to practice 1-inch punches on all the boxes. So people would be like, Nathan, why is there loads of bloody holes in the boxes? And like, I don't know, like we got rats or something. It was me just doing 1-inch punches in the boxes and stuff. So yeah, and like all stars when I'll be doing the dive with all the dishes and the thing. So
Mate.
yeah, it was always come through to me. I was like, I hate working in this situation. What can I do to make this work for me and make it better for me? And that was that. And then, like I said, I went to university, did a degree in psychology, and then I discovered breaking. And then as soon as I finished my degree, I decided to become a professional dancer, only for a month, and then 20 years later I was still doing it. And then from there, yeah, now it's progressed onto filmmaking. And even with the filmmaking, so for me, I'm trying my best to make sure I have a breadth of knowledge, and like have as diverse a portfolio as I can, so I can be as employable as possible. So that's why I'll do everything from barroom brawls to highly stylized kung fu to I've recently done I did a rain shoot. Obviously, my specialism is breaking and martial arts and fire, but also like did a choreography for skydivers, and 12,000 feet. Yeah, and that's real stunts, no CGI or nothing. And that's turned so many heads as well. So many people have been like, wow, this is amazing. So I've had actually a couple of offers to put it in some films as well. So we're just ironing things out for that as well. So I'm really just trying to get as much knowledge as I possibly can to inform my practice, and one, to make me, like I say, as employable as I possibly can, but two, just to make the best work I possibly can, so that's kind of like where I'm at. And so I've managed to put all that into the space of a year. And also just last Friday I was nominated for an award in the Black Belt Hall of Fame, which again was completely unexpected and out of the blue. But I performed at the UK Martial Arts Show in April, the end of April, and well, no, beginning of May, and obviously that was in front of people like Cynthia Rothrock, Don the Dragon Wilson, Bill Superfoot Wallace, all these cats, and yeah, we were only supposed to be performing at the main day show, but everyone loved what we did so much that they brought us back on to perform at the awards ceremony. And they said we kind of like brought the house down really with our kind of like unique style. My 12-year-old daughter Layla, she got to perform there as well, and so she was happy. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
she was happy because obviously she got to perform in front of her idol, which is Cynthia. So when
Excellent.
like Cynthia like gave her some like really positive words at the end and stuff, and she was just like went to herself in the corner like, "Ah!" like had a
Of
little bit of
course.
an internal scream. So she was
Yeah.
really happy about that. So that was
I
great.
bet.
So yeah, all of these things that have happened though, it's like in the space of a year, I would never have dreamed would have happened. Like I would have hoped I would have had like some success, but I
Yeah.
didn't think it would kind of like things would build in the way it has. But I think it's probably because I just want to make great work. At the end of the day, that's all I want to do. I just really want to make great work, and I just want to just keep pushing my level as much as I can. I always have this inner mantra where I'm always like demand more of yourself. So
Okay.
I'm always like, okay, so this is the level I've got to. Okay, so let's go beyond that because all we can do is we can only imagine so far. But I know that we're all greater than we could ever imagine, every one of us. So because of that, I'm like, okay, let me imagine as far as I can, and then I imagine that, and then once you get there, it's then well, what's next? What's next? And then
Right.
you go beyond that. And I think that's what's happened with me.
Yeah.
Like when I first started this journey, I never thought my first bike choreography lesson would be with Cynthia Rothrock. I never
Right.
thought I'd be in a film with her. I never thought I'd meet Andy Cheng. I never thought I'd be training with Jackie Chan's stunt team. Who knows
Yeah.
what's next?
What on earth is it going to culminate in? What like you say, what's next? And this is why it's good to have that mindset, because all the way back then with the job, you knew there's nothing wrong with doing those things. You have to do stuff. You have to get involved in workplace. That is how you meet people. That is how you make connections. You don't know. I always say to people, you do not know who is in that job. So, for example, let's go with yours in the industry of flipping burgers, right? You might say, this is useless. This is no good. This isn't what I want to do. But you're already out there and you're already connecting, because we don't know who's working with you. Not only that, and I say this to a lot of the youngsters. There was a guy that I still know him. He's much younger than me. I've got about 20 years on this fella, right? And he used to work down the local gym, and his attitude and another colleague of his was very much like, can't be bothered, just want to go to bed, don't want to do this rubbish job. I said, ain't you guys got qualifications in personal training and stuff? They're like, yeah. I said, right, so you're in the right place, you got the job. Why are you so miserable? Make the most of it while you're here. Right. I got friendly with both these guys. Like I say, one of them I still know now. I'm a good friend of his. And they always used to avoid things. So the downstairs would send someone up and say, look, you're going to go and get an induction. I'll call one of the guys, and they'd be squabbling over who is not going to do it. As in, I'm not doing it. It's like, yeah, but I'm not doing it either. And I said to him, guys, you are constantly telling me that you're sick and tired of cleaning the treadmills, that you don't want to go and sweep down the studio floor, that's not what you want. Well, now you've got someone waiting downstairs, a potential client, you don't know who they are, they're waiting downstairs for you, and you're shunning that as well. But this is what you want. So make up your mind, fellas. What do you want? Do you want to sweep the floor, which is part of the job? You must do that as well. You must clean the treadmill. You must sweep the floor as part of the job. But you're complaining about it. Now, what you actually want is waiting downstairs, and you're squabbling. You should be fighting over which one of you is going to take it. They could end up being one of your clients. That could then go, they could word of mouth and go, this guy's great. And one thing leads to another, but you're both really closing doors on yourself. And you shouldn't be doing. I know they were younger, but you was younger and you didn't have that mindset. So I said to him, guys, fight for who is going to take that client on. I said, and not only that, it's not just about your bosses. You guys are so intent on either dodging your bosses or trying to please them or doing just enough so that they leave you alone. I said, have a look around the room, and there's people in it, right? Said they are all potential connections. And you don't know who they are. That guy over there, that woman over there, they could be rich, successful. And if they see the way you are, they will want to be involved with you. If they see the way you are, guys are right now, they won't want to be involved with you. You don't know what opportunities that may come of it. You may get offered some other job because they look at you and go, you know what, good person. I want them in my organization. So, but what you're projecting is all wrong, because you're thinking about it too much, like hate this job, hate these bosses. But you're here, make the most of the opportunity, because just because you can't see it, there is opportunity all in front of you. But it will only be there if you open that door. Yeah, and one of them particularly did really network. And after that, start chatting to people and asking, "What do you do? What are you doing?" And he did exactly the same for me. He ended up helping me out with some stuff, and that's what you got to do. But you, right away back then, already had that mindset of, "This ain't good enough for me. I want more than this." Now, there is nothing wrong with doing that job. Someone's
Yeah,
got to do it. If
yeah,
we're
yeah.
all striving to be number one and we're all scrambling at the top, right, then we're going to have no one doing the other stuff, and all of those jobs are important as well. But for you,
Big time.
you had one foot out the door immediately, because you're like,
Mhm.
I'll do whatever I need to do until I do what I want to be doing. And that's what I think is the right thing to do. Have one foot out the door saying, I want more.
Yeah, 100%. And that was it. It was kind of like I knew that it. How can I explain it? Like in your being, you know what it is that you do want to do, but also even more important, you know what you don't want to do. And
Yeah.
there's been certain things.
Yes.
Yeah, there's been certain things that's happened in my life, and that where I've done certain things, like for example, like I was an associate artist at a dance conservatoire place, and when I was an associate artist there, they only offered like contemporary dance opportunities, but they said they were going to offer me all different types of opportunities, and I was miserable during those 2 years I was there. I hated it, but I'm thankful for it, because what it did, it cemented what I definitely don't want to do. And sometimes that is just as important as knowing what it is you want to do, because when you know exactly what you don't want to do, you don't have to waste your time going down that avenue anymore, and things.
You've learned that
But
now. You've learned that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, 100%. And so, I think with what I'm doing now, I've always done what I love, but nothing has resonated like so deeply inside me than what this has. And I think the other things they had done before to a certain level, because they was part of what I was going to become. The break-in, the fire, the martial, it's all part of what I was going to become. And now I feel like I'm doing what my authentic self needs me to do. And even, I mean, you talk about people that you meet in those kind of circumstances back in the day. So one of the guys was a guy called Huggy. He used to be my manager there, and we used to have a laugh. Like at the end of the shift, we'd make Scooby snacks. So we'd have like giant snacks that we just like burgers that we just make up and we just munch
Brilliant.
on and things. And like so then a few months ago, obviously he saw that I was doing like sword courses and stuff. And like so, he's now a chaplain at the Salvation Army, and he said, "Oh yeah, Nathan, this guy he brought in a sword, but we don't we've got no use for it. Do you want it?" And it was like a
Yep.
old school like Excalibur broadsword. So I was just like, "Yeah, I'll take that." You know what I mean? So even like that connection, if I hadn't known Huggy back in the day, I wouldn't have an Excalibur like broadsword with me right now. Do you know what I mean? But
Right.
I do, because of the
Yes.
connections that I made.
Yeah, that's right. And this is the thing, you have to be open to those things. Now, I want to ask you, because I think some of these things, I know we're supposed to be chatting about Jackie Chan stunt team, but it doesn't matter. I think some very important things have come out of this. Now, I want you to try and help people out. There's a lot of people out there that be sitting at their desk or behind the counter in a shop or whatever it is they're doing, and they're miserable. And you mentioned there about knowing what you truly want to do, and
Mhm.
and resonating with your inner self. There are lots of people though that are miserable that don't know that, because they don't have the time and energy to know it, because we know that they are stuck doing that, in that situation. It's not just the job, it's everything. They're stuck in that. They are completely like distracted from themselves, because they are
Mhm.
stuck in the whole vicious circle of going back to that, getting out of bed, going to that job, being miserable, and focusing on the negatives and being totally miserable, which is obviously causing them to be depressed and
Yeah.
annoyed and whatever. And they take that when they go home and they're miserable, they get in and they haven't got any energy for anything else, because it's been sapped out of them during that day. So what they do is they have something to eat, chat to whoever's in the house. Even worse if they've got kids and everything, because they've got to try and play with them and look after the kids. And then they go to bed and they get up, and it's the same thing over and over again. And they're lucky if they get a holiday, which they can't afford, because every time they earn something, all they're doing is earning money and they're giving it back away. Now we know this. There's going to be lots of people doing that. you had a very, very short period of that, you know, by your own admission. You went,
Yeah.
no, I knew straight away that this kind of thing isn't for me, and this kind of thing is, because you didn't get a chance to get distracted. You had things that you were interested in. Remember your upbringing, your interest. You watching the kung fu films. You did the kung fu. You did the breaking. You know, you already had lots of things that mentally you was going to help you not be as distracted and depressed. How does someone get out of that? Because as you say, we all can do more. We're all, you know, we can all do more with our lives, and we're all creative in our own way. But lots of people, they're stuck in a rut. How do they find out, or get the energy and time to find out what will make them happy? Because there's loads of people out there that ain't happy doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, it depends on each person in terms of where their motivation lies, and kind of like what it is they want to do, and they may not know what they want to do. I think what's really important is building habits, because if you can build habits, and they can be the smallest habit, like literally just 2 to 3 minutes a day, just doing something that they love, because it's consistency. That's what a lot of things in terms of when people are successful, a lot of it's down to people just being consistent, and just
Okay.
showing up for themselves. I mean, I always say to myself, I'm showing up for myself every day, and what that means is, because obviously, like, everybody shows up for their job, right?
Hmm.
Every day.
Yeah.
um so show up for yourself. If you're passionate about something, um show up for yourself by doing that, because that will make your soul sing. That will really fulfill you. And you don't have to be the richest or most famous person, or it's just about doing what it is you love. If your passion is burger flipping at McDonald's, then
Yeah.
and you're stuck in a 9 to 5 as an accountant, see if you can get a part-time job at Mackey's or some way. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really is just about building those small habits. I mean, the thing is, with a lot of us at the moment, we're stuck in our heads. We're too intellectualized, and we're not self-actualized in terms of we don't do enough in our bodies. We're not in our bodies about things. We think about things enough, and we think about so many different hypotheses and ways in which we could do stuff, and how this could work and that could work. But if it just stays stuck in here,
Yeah.
then it's not good for people, because you have a whole bunch of energy there, but it has nowhere to go. And
Right.
so you need to kind of like find a way to transport that into action. And that's why it's so important to embody whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah.
Make sure, even if it's just like you've got an idea to do something, and this is another thing, a lot of people, they wait for perfection, you know and perfection will kill you, because perfection,
You mean
if
like
everybody's
seeking it
waiting.
out, seeking
Yeah, yeah,
perfection? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, but they're like, okay, I can't do this idea until I have it perfected in my head, or I can't put it out in the world until it's perfected, and stuff. Now,
Yeah.
the thing is, because people are always going to be chasing perfection, and you can never fully attain perfection. But
Hmm.
what happens is perfection can turn into procrastination, because what will happen is you'll put off doing something until you think, oh, that's not a good enough standard, so I'll never put it out. But what I do
So it's
is,
like a block. They're blocking it again.
yeah, completely,
Or not,
completely.
maybe sometimes an excuse, but fear. Maybe they're scared of the
Yeah, I
of the
mean,
change.
to be honest,
Sometimes you've
do you
got
know
to
what?
take a leap of faith, haven't you? Though, because to
Yeah,
get out of that job or whatever that's paying the wages, that's paying the bills, that's getting you nowhere, because it doesn't progress you anywhere, as we know. It just keeps you there. It's
yeah,
just enough to keep you there and keep going back to the same thing. So sometimes I think it's quite scary for people they have the idea, but to make that leap and go, look, this is going to make me happier. Because it's making me happier, I'm going to perform better. I'm going to, exude the right energy, and opportunities will come from that. But I think
yeah,
there's a bit of fear, yeah, a bit of fear there.
yeah. Because to be honest, like, for a lot of people, if they do a lot of soul searching, a lot of people will find that the idea of success is far scarier than the idea of failure.
Mm.
And the reason for that is because a lot of people, they're used to people saying no. They're used to them not striving and achieving their dreams, so they're already comfortable in that. So
Yeah.
to actually you know, and they can turn around and make up excuses like, oh, I wasn't able to do this because of X, Y, and Z. But if you put yourself out there and put yourself to the test, then you've got no one else to blame but yourself if it goes wrong. But also on the flip side, again, like I said, we're all greater than we can ever imagine. Not being able to fathom your greatness can be scary for some people because it's the unknown, right?
Of
And
course,
a lot, yeah, and a lot of people are afraid of the unknown. So it can be worrying. And like I say, for me, my approach has always been, okay, I'm going to put something out to, you know, to what I feel is a good standard. I'm not trying to get it to a perfect standard, because what it is, it's like I'm learning each time I'm learning, you know, and everything I'm doing is not my finished product. Like when you see Flaming Assassin, that's not Nathan Geering at his you know, final form. You know,
yeah.
there's still levels, and so each thing that I do, I learn, and then I can apply that to the next thing, and then apply that to the next thing. And some things will flop and won't be good, but I can learn from that. Like some of my greatest successes have
Yeah,
come from
they're
my
not
biggest
failures.
failures.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And
they're
and
lessons.
so yeah, exactly. So I think if people can start to just build habits, and like I say, even just 2 minutes a day or however long you can spare to do what it is that you love, you can then build on that. And sometimes you'll get so carried away that 2 minutes will turn into 20 minutes or turn into 2 hours before you know it,
Right.
because you're just so caught up with being great. And then what you what I do anyway is I look at all this as energy. So for example, if there's something that I do and there may be just one moment in it and I'll be like, wow, that was incredible, oh my gosh, and so I'll get hyped up and I'll get energized, and I use that energy to be a catalyst to motivate me to do the next thing. So then it may be, okay, so I'm going to harness that energy, take it, and I'm going to apply that energy to the next thing I do. And then with
Yeah.
the next thing I do, maybe again this tiniest thing, but I can be like, wow, that's great. I didn't realize all that could happen. Oh my god, and I get so hyped up about it, and then so I use that to energize my next thing. So for me, it's all about energy
Leveling up.
transformation and transference. Yeah, and it's all energy to me. So it's all about how can I take something, take away something, like take away a learning, and think about, okay, right, how can this energize me to do the next, you know, to the next thing or the next thing, and that's how I do it.
I mean, I would say to people that have that boost of energy from something they did that you rightly say that they love, a lot of the times they can't do what you're saying, right, and jump to that next level and use it, because the next thing they do is they're back on the train or whatever, and they're back into that grind, doing that horrible job. And then what I was saying to them is, don't forget about that energy, even if the energy's been sapped from you, and now you can't feel the energy because the energy's gone, right? Because the energy's drained and you've had to use it for crap that you don't like. Just recognize it. This energy I wasted. I used it for crap that I don't like. But remember, you had it, and then, you know, get it back later. And when you get it back later, then you can use it again, like you say, to do things you like. But just have one foot out the door and keep questioning what you're doing, because you are right. People are being told all the time. They often try to do these things creatively within a job, and like you said, they're used to getting told, "Nah, rubbish idea. Nah, not doing that. You're crap," or getting told that they're rubbish or whatever. But you just, like you say, you've got to use these little things. But that's an important thing you say. You have to start somewhere with it. Find the thing that you like, or things that you like. Spend time doing them. Put some energy into that. Get boosts from that energy, because that will give you whatever it is, the endorphins, whatever. You know, I'm sure there's chemicals that it sets off. That the hype, what you're saying, I'm sure will have some kind of scientific name as to what it's setting off in you, and you know it happens. And if you can't remember, think back to things and go, I used to love that. Okay, well, whatever it was, you know, I used to love it when I went swimming. All right, well, then go swimming then. And just that time in the pool might get you thinking. It's now you're not distracted by the job, and then you're thinking and you're calm because you enjoy that. So it might not be swimming, because you might go, yeah, but I'm too old. I can't be a swimmer. I'm too old. I can't be a footballer. You've got to have gone to the academies. I'm 30. It doesn't matter. Go and play football. As Nathan said there, go and play football. Spend some time doing that, because that's the thing you like. That is the thing that will give you that energy boost, that will then get you out of that horrible mindset that you're in and that depression, because you'll be raised up here. And when you're in this position, try and use it. And when you go back down, it's all right. go and play football again, do the thing that you like, or whatever it is, martial arts, Thai boxing, whatever it is you do, go and do it again, get yourself engrossed in it again, be around the other people that are also enjoying that, and then eventually you'll come out, I think.
Yeah,
You got to try.
totally. And one other thing I will say as well, uh, wherever possible. Well, two things. So the first thing is, like, when I used to mentor like young people in care, like I used to do creative mentoring with them, and obviously, like, I was always the guy that was like last chance saloon. If these kids were so naughty and like no other mentor could handle them, they'd always send it to me. And what I would do with them is kind of like, I would say to them, okay, so this is what I'm passionate about, and I'd be like, okay, this is, dance stuff and things, and I can show you this, and I can talk to you about, my career in it, but it may not be what you're passionate about,
Mm.
but so what we will do is, you and me together will go and we'll just try new things. You may not even know what you're passionate about. So let's just try new stuff until we stick upon something that you feel actually works.
You're
And
sharing
again,
your energy, your hype, your energy. You're
yeah,
giving some of that away because you're happy. You're sharing it with them.
yeah. And again, it's about doing. So again, you may not be doing an activity that that you love, because you may not know what it is that you love, but just going out and just trying different things, because it may spark off something that be like, oh, actually I really enjoyed that, or actually I don't like that, but while I've been doing this, it got me thinking about this over here, so let me go and try that. And like,
Yeah.
I've worked with lots of young people that have found their passions through this process, whereas before they didn't really know what it is they wanted. They were just getting in fights all the time and things, and they found, they found their passion through this kind of like process of elimination, where they literally just were doing, rather than just thinking about, oh yeah, I want, like, because if you think about stuff, you can think for a million reasons why you shouldn't do it,
Hmm.
instead of that one
Easier
reason
not
why.
to.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So doing is really important. Sometimes it doesn't even matter what you're doing, just as long as you're doing. But the other thing is also, if possible, um, get out into the countryside, and just have, because what it is if you have space, like, because if you're in it, for example, if you're in a city, yeah,
Hmm.
there's lots of buildings all around you and things, right?
Yeah.
And so you can't see too far into the clear distance. So basically, like, a friend of mine once told me that, um, the reason people feel a lot calmer when
Yeah.
they are, out in the countryside, is because they can see the horizon line further away from them. And what that
Okay.
means is, um, in terms of primitively, in your primitive brain, it means
Yeah.
that there's nowhere for predators to hide behind, to jump out and kill you, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and so what that means is, because you're not in that kind of like flight mode, or fight or flight mode, you're not so wound up, you can then relax, so then you can then start to think about other things, because you're not thinking about, oh, what's coming around the corner, kind of thing, on a
Mm.
subconscious level.
Mm.
And I found that when I was out in the countryside, that's when I was able to really, I guess, expand my thinking on some things. Whereas if you're in a big busy city and there's so much going on around you and you can't see, past the end of your
Yeah.
street,
Yeah.
then again, your mind is quite busy, and so
Yeah.
there's so many distractions there. But once you get out into, like I say, an open space, and you spend some time there, and also, like, for some people, like, the other reason doing is so important. So, for example, when people say, oh yeah, when I go for a walk or go for a run, it clears my mind and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
reason,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
the
true.
reason, yeah, the reason it works is because it's bilateral stimulation. So you're walking, so you're using both sides of your body, so you're using both sides of your brain. And
Mm.
so what that means is you then have more space to process information. So that's why it clears people's heads when they go for walks or they go for runs. So that's why, or just doing something. And this is why I say doing is
Yeah.
so important,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
because if you're
Makes
actually
sense.
doing, yeah, whatever it
Yeah.
is you're doing, if it's a physical thing and it's involving both, you know, both sides of your body, it'll involve both sides of your brain more so.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have like one side of your brain, I think, that's more so for creativity, and one side that's more so for logic, I think. But if you do more, like I say, the more stuff you do that has bilateral movement in it, the more
Yeah.
you'll be able to process stuff more effectively in your brain.
Well, I mean, that is a yeah. We talked about a bit of scientific stuff earlier, but there you go. That is a very profound way of looking at things because, as you're saying, you're clearing your mind, and that now allows that mind to have some space to deal with other things, whether it be negative things, it could be some emotional things. You know, you could be going through a bit of sorrow or whatever. You still need energy, different types of energy to deal with these different things. But if you've got no space, then that's what gets you depressed, that makes you angry, snappy with other people, and not
Mm.
and just generally not happy. So that is a good point. You know, a lot of people think, you know, they go for the run, it makes them feel amazing. They don't really think about why. They just
Yeah.
rightly so carry on doing because that's the good thing because they go, well, I know it makes me feel good. But it's a very I like the way you've put that there, that it gives you space in your mind. And it's the same with the fields, and like you say, you've got no distraction. So all these other businesses, shops, signposts, they're all fighting for your attention, right?
Yeah.
Because they want you in there to go and buy their food or whatever it is they're doing, the food, the clothes, whatever, because they're asking you to go in there. They're looking for that. And if you take all that away, like you say, imagine if you was in that big city and you flattened it, like you say, there's just no city there on. It's back to natural grass, trees, meadows, whatever. Then what? Now we're engaging this, right? Now we are
Mhm.
thinking about this, and you can relate this to martial arts. So there's a lot of times when we're doing the training. I remember one of my instructors, Kevin, would always say to me, "Slow the stuff down, slow everything down." So say you're punching at them and you say you're throwing a hook. You're saying, right, okay, I want you to roll under that hook. When the left hook comes, I want you to roll under that hook. And most people, they're doing this. The hooks are up here, so they're compensating for the person. They're not waiting for them. And it's like, okay, we'll just slow it down because we're obviously looking for a trained response, not a natural response. You know, natural response is to dodge it, flinch, move out
Yeah.
of the way. So he says, as long as you slow it down, we are training the brain to see the line and then go, what have I been taught? What have I been taught to do? What have I been taught? Can you remember? The slower it goes, the more you'll go, roll under, and then you'll do it. But if you've just got someone whacking a left hook over you, it's going to be bad habits, right? You're going to flinch, put your guard up, run away, turn away, whatever it is. But in time, your muscle memory will work, but you have to slow it all down so it gives your brain a chance to go, I can't really remember what to do with this. I have been told, but I can't remember. So it just comes slow, slow, slow until you go, yeah. And then you can speed it up, you know. And then after that, you go, okay, I know now when this line comes in, there's this you can do. And then obviously the teacher will then go, okay, well, that's one thing you can do. Well done. You can do that. You're right. You can sit and roll underneath that. That's one thing. But then I go, okay, well, you can block it, you can shoulder stop it. There's obviously loads of other things you can do. And that's
Mhm.
when, like you were saying earlier about the leveling up, you create that space to go, okay, I can do that now. And I enjoyed it. What else can you do? And then they'll go,
Yeah.
okay, what do you do if a straight punch comes in? And you teach them something and then you give them chance to react to it. And that's giving the brain clearing space for it. So this is you can even apply it to martial arts, which obviously I'm sure you
Yeah.
know, right?
Yeah, big time, big time. Yeah, 100%. You're just giving your brain space to process things, and that's the beauty of slowing stuff down, because you get to know everything in detail then, so that when you speed it up, it's just there. You've got it. So yeah, 100%. It works with martial arts big time. It's all martial arts, isn't it? Do you know
It
what I mean?
always comes back to the Kung, innit? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Well, look, we've done some powers chats there. I love it. I love the way these things go, right? Because I'm not professing that people are going to watch stuff and pick up things from it, but it don't matter. It's naturally to me that's where the conversation led. I found that was an important topic to cover. Not that we didn't plan that topic, right? But as it came, I was like, yeah, but the truth is, we don't want to ignore things when they come because
Mm,
that's something that I thought was good to face there. I knew that you've got a lot of experience in that field. I didn't even know about you helping out the youngsters and the kids and people sending them to you. So you've actually genuinely not just got your own experience, but you've actually got experience in helping people with this stuff. So all the
mm,
more better that we had a chat about that. But
yeah.
must go back to Chan because not that
Yeah.
that stuff isn't fun, but we know
Mhm.
that Chan is
Yeah.
fun. Oh, look, let's face it, right? I'm chatting to you now. I'm happy. It's hyping me up. You can hear it. This is
Yep.
real. You can hear it. It's hyping me up. I'm happy that we covered what I think was something quite serious, and I think
Mhm.
maybe will help people out, even if it's just one person. Doesn't matter. It don't matter, right? Because I learned stuff. It helps me out, so that gives me energy. But doing this, chatting to you, thinking about Chan, thinking about the course you're going on with the stunt team, it's giving me energy. I can use that energy for something else. It actually gave me the energy to invite you on and say, can we have a chat about this? It's your energy, but that scenario gave me that. And so I used it and went, well, no, I want to do this. And so now I'm sitting there chatting to you. So you've got to use it. But I am genuinely excited about it because I'm passionate about this stuff and I love it. So I just want to quickly go back. The application to get on this Chan, was it simply just submitting some? I know you had a bit of, bit of timing, a bit of knowing people, which you created all those opportunities. I guess you had a show reel. Did you have stuff to offer? What did you have to? What a form? Did it have a list of questions? Name. Age, what was the application? Was there a form?
So like, going back to it now, gosh, it's tricky to remember everything that was on that application, but like it asked obviously for like, general details and things, but then it asks you kind of like, okay, like what's your experience in terms of like, have you done martial arts before and things.
That's important though. So going off the application form, was Kung Fu martial arts part of it? And do you think the answer, I mean, what are the criteria? So if, for example, I've done no martial arts before, but I love Jackie Chan films and I want to learn, have you got a chance or do you need to be physically capable? What do you think?
I mean, that's tricky because like, obviously I'm not on the judging panel, but like,
And you're physically capable. You're not an arrogant guy, though. But it's true, Nathan. It's true, right? You do have the attributes for it. You are a perfect candidate for it, right? If you weren't going to go through, then you should go through, right? But in a way, you wouldn't say this, okay? So I appreciate that. But in a way, you're kind of too good for it. You've proven that with your trajectory and your progression since going on that. You're not too good for it, but it's like any job, right? You're more than capable, more than suited for it. You're going to use that to your advantage and get whatever you can out of it and soak it up like a sponge. But there's going to be a lot of people that are nowhere near your skill level and passion. And we're trying to encourage people here to go, well, I love Jackie Chan films. Maybe I can go on the stunt team. But, sometimes it is too early,
Yeah, I mean, I think it does depend on what you can bring to the table. So, for example, obviously you have to. I do remember like there was a question in terms of like why do you want to come on this camp and things. I think that's an opportunity for people to really get across their passion, but also kind of like what it would do, not only mean to them, but what it would do for them.
Written or video, Nathan? That question.
They were mainly written, but I reckon they would have submitted a video because I think if not, then they should, because I think with a lot of video applications you can really get a sense of a person's passion for something. But I think I was my stuff I'd done was mainly written, and then they had another part where you can add kind of like attachments, like video attachments and things. So I put one of the fight scenes from Flaming Assassin in that, because at that point it was still just the fight scene. So I thought, I thought a fight scene that I thought, okay, well, this will kind of like make me stand out. But like I said, I mean, there's like people going on there that have got like incredible skills. Like I've seen some of these cats, and I'm like, okay, like Cirque du Soleil type standing. A lot of some of these people like one-handed like handstands, all that kind of stuff. People do like crazy like double backflips and things. And I'm actually there thinking my biggest asset is not my physicality, it's actually my creativity. That's for me. I'm like, that's what I'm going in with feeling like what my biggest asset is.
Based on the other applicants, that's what you're saying. See, this is the thing, right? What you've said there is that there is other people there, and you look at that, and I'm going, oh, you're way, you can breeze this. You're more than capable. But then you go, yeah, but hang on, I've seen these other applicants, and like you say, there's levels to this, and I want to know, does that? I mean, I can see it doesn't, but I have to ask because I know you're very honest with your feelings. does any of that give you any nerves, any anticipation, any fear to go, you know, I'm because you're not up against, you're all there to learn. So let's,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
my opinion, you're not going
yeah,
there to challenge others. But
yeah, yeah.
does any of that give you any, you know, nerves
But
about the whole
I
thing?
think what it is, it's like, you know, there's moments when, you know, you do compare yourselves to others,
Hmm.
and you know, you know, a lot of human beings are very, it's their disposition to always compare themselves unfavorably to people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there has been like one or two moments of like, oh, they're good. But as soon as that comes in my head, I'm like, yo, man, like, I'm not actually there trying to get into Jackie Chan's stunt team. I'm there to learn, to get that knowledge to
Yeah.
apply to my own stuff, you
Yeah.
know. And you know, two, these are going to be my classmates, my Tong Shui. These are going to be people that I'll be learning off. So,
See?
you know, and motivation by inspiration. So that's what I'm going there. I'm not going there to compete with anybody, because for me, you know, my prize is knowledge.
Hmm.
It's not showing that I'm better than somebody.
Right.
That's
See?
not what I'm there to do. And so it's like, you know, that you check yourself, and when you check yourself, it's like, boom, okay, that's the reasons I'm going for it. It's, you know, it's not to prove that I'm better than people in such and such. And like I say, you know, my biggest asset is my creativity. And you know, regardless of what happens on, you know, over these next 10 to 12 days, I'm going to come back. I'm still going to have my film career, and I'm still going to be making films. So
Yeah.
so for
It
me, I'm
shouldn't have a
already,
negative effect. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly that. So you know, from that perspective, it's like there's nothing for me to like be nervous about, you know, within that context. It's just literally about just working my ass off and just presenting the best version of myself. Like, the only person I should ever be competing with is me, and
Hmm.
that's what I'm always there to do, man. You know, I'm always there to be like, okay, can I do better than I did yesterday? You know, can I make myself go, holy shit, that was incredible? If I
Yeah.
can't, then, you know, can I, you know, utilize that energy to hype me up to do something even more incredible? If I
Yeah.
can't, then it's like, okay, that I've got to write that day off. I lost against myself, but tomorrow I'm going to go and win against myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And be friends with myself as well. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Also, that's really important. So yeah, there's, like I say, there's lots of people doing like absolutely incredible things, and I'm super
Mm.
excited to, like I say, connect with them, because again, that we could end up
See?
being in movies together. You know,
Right.
you know. So
What an
for me,
attitude. Yeah.
it's open. It's a total open book for it.
You can see it, you're smiling, you're happy about it, you're looking forward to it, you're energetic about it. And it's all because, as you say, you're not going there to compete with people, you're going there to learn stuff and learn off of them as well. So, yeah, I mean, what a great mindset to go into it with. Do you have any clue about an itinerary? Do you know what to expect?
So we haven't had the itinerary sent through yet. I think it should be coming through in the next, either in the next day or so. So while I'll be traveling, or
Yeah.
when we get there. But pretty much, it's like we're going to be learning like, so like advanced, like, you know, action design and filmmaking, and things like that, fight choreography. We'll be learning stuff like wire work. We'll also be learning about kind of like how to structure like fight scenes and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be learning a lot of stuff in front of and behind the camera.
Mm.
um and so, and like I say, for me, the behind the camera stuff is even more so exciting to me, because obviously, like, I've got my style of how I move, you know, my unique, you know, style with fire in martial arts and breaking, well, you know, I've got my thing. I mean, obviously I'll be refining other techniques, you know,
Hmm.
physical techniques, you know, to improve that even more so. But for me, it's it's the other stuff. It's that, you know, okay, how they're going around, you know, choosing their shots for certain things. You know, if we do stuff about editing, we're going to be all up in that in terms of knowing, okay, where they have their edit
Yes.
points for certain things, and things like how they inject humor, how they inject storytelling, what is the arc, you know, that type of stuff. So I can come
Yeah.
back and make off, you know, the films that I make for us great, you know,
Yes.
totally incredible. And so that's what it is. It's almost like I feel like I'm there to basically just soak up all that knowledge, and then just to give it to anybody who wants to have it. And the first way that they'll be able to have it is through the films that I will make
Yeah.
subsequently.
Yeah, exactly. Keep up to date with what you're doing, and you'll see that progression again. But look, that is a good thing. That itinerary. I'll be very, very interested, and hopefully you'll come back on and we'll discuss it after the experience. But I'm very interested in how structured it is. I mean, it's Chan. It's his thing. I'm pretty sure it's going to have a decent structure, as starting from ground up. Hopefully, you're going to be learning about green screens and computers and stuff like that. But yeah, for me, it would definitely be about the editing. How this is the thing, right? This is what I'm really interested to know once you've been as well, what it was
Yeah,
like, because me and you both know what we have seen and what we aspire to and the stuff we like,
yeah,
and we know the stuff that's coming out now. And let's face it, they are worlds apart, even out of that stable, right?
mhm,
It's still not that. Yes, it's his
mhm,
stunt team, this, that, and the other, but I still don't see stuff that's like that. So I'll be
yeah,
very interested because I know what you're like. And I know if you're not getting that stuff, you're not an arrogant guy. You're there to soak up the information. That is it. And I know you'll pick your moments. But if there's a moment where you're thinking, all right, I want to know about the old golden era
mm,
Hong Kong stuff and the way they edited that stuff, and it's not coming, I know, even if it's over, some grub later on, and you're networking, I know the questions are going to be there. I know you're going to ask, if it's not hitting those things, because I know the stuff you love. See, I
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, totally.
I also know that modern day martial arts filmmaking ain't like that
Mhm,
stuff,
yeah,
but you
yeah,
are
yeah,
going to the heart of it. I mean, he moved his operations over from Hong Kong to China some time ago, and
yeah,
I've seen some clips and images of this place, and it looks amazing, doesn't it? Breathtaking. I mean, I
yeah.
think it's
Well,
a real big,
yeah, it's at his house.
operation.
It's at his home. So it's going to be like real cool because obviously we'll literally be in the training center and like it's on the grounds where he actually lives. So I
Yeah,
mean, it'll just depend though on like if he's got a film project on whether or not he's going to be there. I hope
yeah,
he's going to be there, but even if he's not there, like what's good about the stunt team is I think some of obviously you've got the new generation stunt team there, but some of the old school guys are going to be there as well. So again,
right.
I'll be able to chop it up with them about okay, so how was it back in the day? How do y'all do it back? You know what I mean? And so I'll be able to get them nuggets of information because obviously, like I said, I want to be as versatile as I can, and I do want to be able to do all the modern
Yeah,
stuff. But
of
I'm
course.
still I'm still adamant. I want to bring that old school quality and flavor back and have a bit of a new school twist to it. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I want those elements in there that you can say, that's solid kung fu. Do you know what I mean?
of course. Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm definitely going to be interested to chat to the older generation as well.
Well,
There's no
that
for
would
the
be
new generation.
amazing. Yeah, that'll
Yeah,
be very, very interesting to see who's out there. But it's going to have everything. It's got his big logos on the wall, and I've seen some clips of stuff, and it's like, I'd really love to go there. If he's there, great. That's the icing on the cake, as they say.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it ain't going to matter regardless. I mean, have you ever
yeah,
been to China before, or Hong Kong,
yeah,
either of those places?
yeah. This will be my fourth time, I think,
Ah,
over there. So
okay.
I haven't been to Hong Kong, but I've been to Shanghai, Beijing, like Zhengzhou, so North Shaolin, um, and yeah, so I've been a few times to
Interesting.
China. This would be my second
Orange
time in
t-shirt,
Beijing.
black underneath. North Shaolin sounds like another Podders is coming up. Yeah, am I right? Is there other chat to be had about going to North Shaolin? You know what I mean? What we
Yeah,
saying?
I mean,
Oh,
yeah. There's,
yeah.
there's
I
definitely,
mean, is
there's
it on the
definitely a
card?
chat about that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't train there, but I went there and
Yeah.
I did enter a kung fu contest there as well. But you can say that for another podders. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, that is brilliant, mate. We'll leave it there then, because there's lots to follow up on later on once you've done and been this and been to China. This is brilliant, just as a reminder of what we're chatting about. Nathan has been accepted. That's right, accepted on behalf of the JC Stunt team. And we had a little chat there about Philip, the guy he met that helped get him onto this path. But as I said, you created your own opportunities here. JCST. I take it that means JC Stunt Team, yeah? Jackie Chan Stunt Team.
Yeah.
Action Camp. Oh, look, this is the thing, right? I get annoyed with the new stuff. You know I do, right? I get the ump with it, right? But listen, just these little things, these little details, they kind of give me hope that they know. Action Camp Beijing. I hear that and I go, you know what? Absolutely fantastic. They know what we know. You know what I mean? They know what we like. I think. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it'd be
yeah.
really interesting for you to mix with them, have a chat with them, and let them know more about you and the stuff you've grown up watching. I mean, the
Mhm.
chats that you're gonna have, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like I can't wait to like you, like I say, just to connect with the team and connect with all, like I said, the cohort of people that's coming over as well. See how Jackie Chan stuff inspired them as well over the years, what their journey was to get them to that point. Like super interested to find out, about everything. I just want to soak it all up.
And I know you. And see, this is the thing, and I know you will. I know you'll go in there and you'll take all opportunities that come your way. I know that if it's all too much, you'll go and empty your brain and create more space. Right? We know it.
Yeah, that's it. I'll go for a walk, or run, or do some kung fu, and I'll be back on it.
Right? Using both
Exactly.
sides. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
We
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. You got it.
Lovely there. I bet there's some nice places there where you'll be able to go and have that, countryside feel. I mean, that's my guess. I should
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I say, I don't know the exact address because I haven't been there. I mean, I've got the address, but I haven't been there, so I don't know what the location is in terms
Yeah.
of. But I'm guessing that they will have like beautiful surroundings as well as. I don't think it's smack bang in the middle of Beijing city centre. Is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. Do we know? I know we could look these things up, and I'm sure we could. But do we know how big this place is, or something we can compare it to? I mean, it looks massive.
Yeah, it looks huge. I'll be able to tell you that when I get there in terms of what we can
Yeah.
compare it to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, but for what I've seen, yeah, like the training space looks real big. But you've also got like because I've seen like certain clips of like when because they get like on last year's cohort, I know they got some people to do like fight scenes to create fight scenes and things like that, and they edited it and things like that.
Ooh,
And
okay.
some of the fight
Yeah.
scenes didn't take place in the training room; they took place elsewhere on the grounds and stuff. So I
Okay.
know there's other parts to it. I actually did see a clip of I think two of the people doing some of the fight choreography from the end fight scene of Fearless Hyena. So like that'd be cool
Right.
if it's the case if they get you doing like old Chan choreography and things.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Or they ask you to choose something, right? See,
Yeah.
that's good because we now know that those people that were on that first one obviously have a love for it as well. It makes
Hmm.
sense that they do because they
Yeah.
would go down a different path, like go to a circus one or something. People that are going to
Mhm.
be on it, they're going to know and love Chan, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
they'd be on a different path. So that's going to be
Yeah.
interesting as well. Like you say, there's going to be lots of different people there from all over the world for you to mix with and chat the Kung with. I mean, it's just really, really exciting stuff. I know how I feel, and I ain't going, right? So I can only imagine how you feel. And you know what? Wicked family as well, because obviously they'll be supporting you for all of this, and
Yeah.
respect
Yeah.
to them as well, right? Because
Yeah.
they're by your side with it.
Yeah, and this is it. I do feel like really blessed to have, such a supportive family. I mean, my partner Holly, she's absolutely amazing. She's like, whatever it is you want to do, you got my full support, babe. And she's, we always hype each other up with everything. Like whatever she wants to do and things, I'm always hyping her up and stuff. And that's just it. We just each other's biggest cheerleaders, and the family is the family. We harness that energy and we use that to put our best foot forward with everything. But also like the community of people. So obviously like the Kung Fu Cinema group chat that I'm in and stuff, and the community of people just on social media that all been like kind of like watching my journey over this past year. They've
Yeah,
all like been so great and like really positive and like really wish me well and things. And it's great, and I feel like I'm kind of like flying the flag for everybody that used to watch old school kung fu films
it's
and stuff.
true.
And
Yeah,
so
you're
it's
out
kind of like
there. Yeah, you're out there doing it. I know. See, I know. Whenever I watch something, I go, I know what he's seen. I know. Yeah. So I'm always looking for it in whatever it is, the style, the sound effects, the editing, because I go, I know. But you've been very clear and very honest and said, listen, I want to be employable. I want to do all different things, all different styles in all different environments, because it ain't always going to be about what you want. You said to me before, listen, I can choreograph the scene and I can try and make it amazing and Hong Kong style, and then someone else edits it. But my job was to go in there and choreograph that. And as you say, so sometimes it's going to be a job and sometimes it's going to be one of your actual passion projects. It's going to be a little bit of a balancing act, because you're still going to want it to be commercially successful. I know you're only going to do what you want to do, but you still want to, you still want to try and appeal to as many people as possible, right?
Yeah, totally. And I think, like, so I mean, even it happened quite recently. There was a film that I did the fight choreography for, but I was also in it, and the editor didn't use a lot of the good shots, and so I'm like, oh, great, I'm not happy with this kind of like going out in the public domain, but there's only so much you can do once you sign a release form, So it's just like, okay, well, I just have to remember that, again, this is not the finished product of me. And I get a chance to exactly, and I get a chance to fully represent myself on the things that I make and I do. So, when I can be in charge of the edit, then people will see, what I'm really about and stuff. And obviously that director, they have a certain, thing that they want to express. They want to show what they're about and stuff. And
exactly.
it's like, cool. Okay. And so, once I kind of got my head around that, I was able to not be as precious about my choreography and understand that, well, you go in there, you give them, the best of what you can, and then it's up to them what they want to do with that afterwards. And then if you're not happy with only that, then you better go and make your own stuff. And that's what I do. I go and make my own stuff so I can basically be like, okay, you've seen that, but you've also seen this. So you know what my capabilities are. So you know what must have happened on that other film or that other film. Do you know what I mean? So people, know my standard is at a certain point. And yeah, so that's kind of like where I'm at. But yeah, I'll always try and appeal to the masses as much as I can. But I think that can be done with real kung fu. I think it can be done if it's presented in a certain way. I think there is an appetite for it. It's just hitting that sweet spot, But there'll be some times where I probably won't hit that sweet spot, but other times I will, or other times I'll just like, you know what, this right here is just for my old school kung fu family, and that's it. So they're really gonna have a treat with this one, or this one. Okay, this is gonna be geared towards a bit more of a Western audience to help get that following, and then when they come on this journey with me, they'll be able to really see some stuff. It's kind of like if people, I guess, reverse engineer Jackie Chan movies. Like some people, they've seen his more recent stuff, and then when they go back, they're like, oh wow, we really got a watered down version in terms of their action quality and stuff. But again, that he's got that back catalogue there to show, his full range of what he is capable of, and that's what I'm striving to do at this moment in time, is just make that portfolio of work so people can say, oh, okay, he's he can do stuff from like fire to range shoots to old school kung fu shapes to like choreographing skydiving at 12,000 feet. So people can be like, okay, he's got a breadth of work, but there'll always be a through line as well in terms of, oh, okay, that's his style, that's his standard. You can still see the kung coming through.
Yeah, you got to give the interest first, and then you can bring people on slowly with stuff. And as you just brought it back to Chan, we that's is what it's about, right? And it's the same. We bring it back to the Kung because it's all about the balance, right? And the Tai Chi business. It's what it's all about. And that's what you've just said there. You're like, well, I'm going to do a bit of this and a bit of that, but at some point I'm going to want to bring a bit of me out, and this is my true self that I can point to, and that's the balance, the yin yang, the hard, soft, or whatever. So there you go. As we say with everything, it's all about the Kung, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It always comes back to it.
Yeah. Well, look, brilliant, Nathan. Thanks for your time. I'm going to let you go because I know I could chat about this for ages, and I know you could as well. So I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on at short notice. I really, really appreciate you. You're always so gracious with your time, not only your time, but your knowledge. The fact that you're happy to share these things with people, even though you're not thinking here. Right, we know, right? I don't have a massive platform. You're not doing this because I'm going to go on here because it's got a massive platform. It's going to go out to people. No, you're a very selfless person. You're doing it because you just maybe one person might get a little bit of a nugget out of it that'll help them out. So you're very gracious with your time and sharing your energy, because sometimes people ain't got that energy to share, but you've shared energy again. It's given me fuel, given me energy. And mate, honestly, I really, really, really thankful and grateful for it. Thanks very much. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
No, thank you for having the taking the time out to have me on. I always love our conversations and things, and we never know what direction it's going to go into. So it's always, but that's the exciting thing about it, and that's what it means. Like, the unknown can be such an exciting place to be instead of such a scary place to be, and so that's why I love having our conversations. We don't know what direction it's going to take, and we always touch on some great subjects. And yeah, man, like, even if one person finds what we talk about beneficial, or they can just take something that they can action from it, then that's brilliant. Our job's been done 10,000 times over then.
Exactly. And if that doesn't happen, guess what? I bloody loved it, so I enjoyed it regardless. I got something out of it. And true though, selfishly, I got something out of it. I love it. I love having the chance to chat to you. It just so happens I've forgotten about it, and I'm sure you forget about it. Just so happens that at the beginning of this, I hit record, but I don't really care about that. I just love having the chats. I love chatting to you. So listen, mate, thanks very much. I enjoyed it, regardless if anyone else does or don't, because guess what? We didn't make it for anybody else. We made it for us. We did it for us. And if that energy does go out there and helps anyone else, then so be it. But I certainly got loads from it, loads of knowledge as well. I appreciate all of it. Thanks, Nathan.
Thank you so much. Big respect.
Yes, and of course, listen, I'll have a chat with you when you get back. If you don't mind.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Definitely. I'll definitely keep you posted, and I have like plenty to report on when I get back, for sure.
I don't know what you're allowed to do when you're there, but obviously, as many. You're concentrating on the course. I appreciate that, but as many videos and pictures and whatever that you can take, maybe there's someone there documenting. But anyway, just as much stuff as you can. I know it's going to be all in here, and I know you'll share it all, because, like I said, you're very, very gracious with your knowledge and your time. So I know you'll share it all. But yeah, if you can get some, stuff that we can visualize it as well.
Of course. Yeah, like I know, like, they're going to be quite strict on what footage and stuff you can take, and they'll give you stuff to that you can release publicly when the time comes. But outside of that, if there's stuff, for example, like, I think they might be quite private about what footage you can take while you're on the grounds and things.
Sure.
But in terms of all the other stuff, then I'll be able to anything I can document, I'm going to be documenting the hell out of, basically.
Yes, mate. Yes. Now, you know what you can do, though? As again, we bring it back to the Kungs. It's quite simple. All I can see here is, I know you've seen Enter the Dragon. All you have to do is you just have to go out at night. That's all you have to do. You have to put on the black skin tight suit. You have to get the rope round you, and we know what you're doing, right? You have to go out.
And
you have to make sure that someone like, Williams, Jim Kelly gets the blame for you going.
Yeah, exactly. He's going up. Yep. Man, come right out of the comic book.
You've seen the Kungs. You just do a Bruce Lee. You do an Enter the Dragon and go, no worries. What am I allowed to video here? What am I allowed to take a picture of? No, you can't do that. You can't. Yeah, no worries. All right, no worries. When everyone's asleep, straight legs out. Yeah, exactly. So there you go, right? You know what to do. Only if necessary, of course.
Nice, of course. Yeah. Wicked. So yeah, been awesome chatting to you. Yeah, big respect, and thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. And I'll speak to you in a bit. Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, man. Big respect. Peace.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, okay. I can do it all. Yeah. See you later.
Yeah.